Hey everybody, this is Captain Fool reporting for duty, giving you my weekly comic book review. So sit back and enjoy. Alright everybody, for those of you that know the drill, I go over a bunch of comic books for the week that I chose to read. Now I didn't have time to read everything, so if I missed something you think I should have read, let me know in the comments below. Also, you may disagree with me on some of my choices. If that's the case, that's alright. Let me know below. Let's just try to keep it civil. My goal is to bring back the old schoolyard days, where we would be in discussing what hero could beat who or what comic book was good and not. And I come armed with my trusty notes, so you'll hear the paper rattle because I do it a little bit old school. I do my grading on a scale of 0 through 10, 7 being average as a 70%. So I'm using schoolyard grading. But that's not all. I also use the League of Comics Geeks to give you other people's views as well as a brief overview of the comic book as well. So let's jump right in. Alrighty, let's get right into this. The first issue I'm going to start with is the Invincible Iron Man issue number 15. 87 out of 89 liked it on the League of Comics Geeks with a 4.1 average rating, where I gave it an 8, so we are really close. They gave it just a little bit better. I have to say, I thought the cover for this, the standard cover, is the best one. It's really cool, a nice War Machine cover. And this issue was written by Jerry Duggan, and the penciler is Chris Lee and inker Walden Wong. I hope I didn't butcher those names. It says, months ago, James Rhodes was framed and arrested for an intel gathering mission that unearthed a terrible truth. Orchis isn't planning to stop with mutants. They have every hero on Earth in their sights. Orchis will be stopping at nothing to achieve machine ascendancy. But when you've got to fight machines, it pays to have a war machine of your own. And boy, do we get some big armors in this. It's a really cool cover. I like that cover of this issue. You know what? I am still really enjoying the connection with Stark and Emma. I actually think I'd like to see this continue. I wasn't a big fan of it at first, but it just works. And I think this is continues to be a good story, and it has really good art in this issue too. If you're an Iron Man fan, I really don't think you can go wrong with this issue. I think it's been good, and if you do miss it, you're really missing out on something. Now, the next one I want to talk about, the cover didn't sell it very well for me, but it's Avengers Twilight number 3. Cool issue, don't get me wrong, and there is multiple covers. There's variant covers. The cover with Captain America on it and Iron Man is pretty good, but unfortunately it's not the standardized cover we get. And anyway, 188 out of 188 liked it with a 4.6 average rating, and I agree, the cover did not sell it for me. It's a little bland. Good art though, but bland. But boy, I'm enjoying the story. Yeah, good job, Alex Ross there. Anyway, this is written by Chip Zdarsky, and the artist for the interiors is Daniel Acuna, which once again, I butcher, so I apologize for that. Anyway, off the shores of New York City sits the Raft. Yeah, the Raft where we're used to see all the villains put in. Remember that? A government facility is now full of secrets and danger. Can Captain America infiltrate the Raft before the new Iron Man gives him the same gruesome fate as Tony Stark? Yes, he's going in. Captain America is going into the former jail, a prison for superpowered criminals, which is created now as a base to take and get Tony Stark out of there, which is pretty cool. Good art, good action in this issue, good characterization with Steve Rogers as well. Fun story, and I'm really looking forward to the next issue, even though the cover I don't think sells it very well. And by the way, you see when Steve Rogers prays, good things happen in this issue. I gave it an 8.3. Yeah, an 8.3. Not quite, once again, as high as League of Comics Geeks had it, but I tend to grade a little harder, I guess, than they do, and I gave it a solid score as well. Hey guys, today's video is sponsored by My Wallet. Yeah, I'm not trying to push any kind of wallet or pimp any wallet out. What I mean is it's sponsored by my personal wallet and the cash that comes out of it to pay for these things. If you want to help with this, you can hit like, subscribe, that notification bell. Those are great ways to get started. But if you find yourself in a position where you can help the channel more, we have a Patreon and a subscribe star down below that you can click on those links. And for as little as $1 a month, you'll have special videos and things to just you, music that you can get, Or maybe if you wanted to, a one-time donation just to help out, we have a Streamlabs link down below. Or we also have, if you go to the Patreon shop, you could buy a song for like $3. I wish I could put them a little lower, but that's the minimum they allow for that. So there's lots of options. Sometimes you might even see an Amazon link. If you want to buy anything through Amazon, click on my link first, then go through there. That'll give me a couple pennies, possibly that way too as well. So there's lots of ways you can help out the channel, because without you, it would not be possible. So thank you, everybody, and let's get back to the video. The next issue I want to talk about is the Punisher Light, or should I say Punisher issue number 4. I call it Punisher Light because it's Marvel trying to do everything to have the Punisher without the name Frank Castle, to stick it to all those Republicans because they're petty like that. And I think they're paying the price. Yeah, the reason is we have 26 out of 34 like this with a 3.4 average rating on League of Comics Geeks. Now, I gave it a 7.2 just for the record, so I actually was a little higher on this one. Anyway, with that said, David proposes the writer and artist is Dave Watcher. And the cover is okay. We get the Who is Jigsaw, which is pretty good. And that's what the story is about. Ever since his family was murdered, retired S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, yeah, sounds like Frank, doesn't it? Joe Garrison has turned New York City upside down in his bloody search for answers. Yeah, and he calls himself the Punisher now too as well. But now he's finally put all those pieces together, and what he's found could lead to all-out war. Alone and outgunned, Joe must push his deadly set of skills to their limit to stop the clandestine terror group known as Jigsaw. And when he does, he decides he's going to continue on just like Frank Castle did. This really, that's my main thing here, and I think that's what people are having an issue with this in general is this is really just Frank Castle rewritten with a different name because Marvel's being politically correct. So their politically correct Punisher is back for another issue. It's a good issue, though, I have to admit. It's good art, good action, a good story. But with that said, why don't we just have Frank? Marvel needs to grow some balls and just give us Frank back. Quit with their petty games. I gave it a 7.2. And as I said, people I think are liking it in general, but they seem to believe the same thing. That it's just, it's Frank Castle light. And they're treating it like they're testing the waters with this issue. Is it a limited series? Is it not? Depending on how well it sells. And they even treat it like it's going to continue, like maybe they'll continue with another series of it or continue it on even after issue 4, depending on sales. But I don't think it's going to happen when we have 26 out of 34 liking it. Now, what I mean by that is that's not real high numbers then must be reading this issue. And I think it's because people wanted to check it out. We're curious what would happen without the Punisher, but without the Punisher, it just wasn't that good. But you want to talk about good. Let's talk about a good issue, and that's Duke issue number 3. 138 out of 138 liked it with a 4.4 average rating on League of Comics Geeks. And I'm telling you, man, this one deserves every point that it gets. They gave it a 4.4. I gave it an 8. So they even gave it a little higher than me. Writers Joshua Williams, artist Tom Riley. Man, if you haven't been reading Duke, you're missing out. We have Duke searching for answers, and it led him to a classified holding site for America's most dangerous prisoners when he was captured by members of G.I. Joe. Now he's the most wanted man in the world. Unfortunately, everyone seems to prefer him dead over alive. And I'm telling you, Duke continues to be great. I gave that story an 8. Yes, I rhymed that intentionally. What can I say? I have to rhyme when I can all the time. Good story, good characterization. We also get, any G.I. Joe fan loves this. We get some of the Baroness as well. Absolutely awesome series. Matter of fact, I think even if you're not a G.I. Joe fan at this point, that you probably should be checking this series out. It is that entertaining. It is that good. Now, one that's a little disappointing to me is The Flash number 6. 115 out of 126 liked it with a 3.9 average rating on League of Comics Geeks, where I gave it a 7, which might even be a little high, I think. And with that said, the writer is Simon Spurrier, artist Mike Deodato Jr. And this is the first arc of the critically acclaimed series conclusion, or wrapping up. And that's the thing, I think before I dive in, let me give you a little synopsis first. After the shocking ending of last issue, Wally West's world has been completely upended. As he quite literally is putting the pieces together, the stillness attempts to reach out to a higher power, and they're answered. Yeah. Lace up your boots! As the first arc of a critically acclaimed new era of the Scarlet Speedster concludes, and I think it's just a mess. I'm sorry, the story is a convoluted mess. It's dragging on way longer than it should. It's moving too slowly. Yes, pun intended for a Flash comic. It's moving. Yes, it's moving too slowly. It's good art, but the story needs more focus and a much faster pace. It's not doing it for me. I noticed I'm not the only one that thinks it's just a little bit too convoluted, too much of a mess, but some people, I guess, are really liking it. Now, we'll shift gears to another issue, Green Arrow number 9. We're going from the red to the green, where 126 out of 131 liked it with a 4.1 average rating on League of Comics Geeks. Whereas higher than I gave it. I gave it a 7.1. Writers Joshua Williamson. Artist is Sean Izagski, which I'm not even going to try. I apologize. Well, I did try. I failed. And we have the Beast World Fallout. First of all, let me say I did not read Beast World. Nope. Didn't have any care in the world to read that. So maybe if it was better, if it was really good, let me know in the comments. I skipped it. It didn't look like anything that I would be interested in. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know. Should I be checking it out? Well, anyway, in this issue, after months of searching, the Emerald Archer has found Amanda Waller at her new hideout. Yeah, Oliver Queen has his sights set on taking her out and demands answers for why she messed with his family. Yes, you don't piss off and mess with people's family, especially when it's the Green Arrow, because you'll be in his sights. But what does Ollie do when Amanda Waller offers him a deal of a lifetime? Oh boy. Okay, a couple things here. One of the reasons I think I downgraded it to a 7.1, took a little points off, is because we're bringing back Sanctuary. You know, where that whole Flash messing with Wally West came from, which was just a nightmare of a mess. I think we need to stay away from the whole idea of Sanctuary, steer clear of that, because Waller wants to find Sanctuary. No, please don't go back to that. That took so much time to get Wally West back into the fold and proper. Otherwise, good art, good pacing, and, well, since they're diving into this stuff, let's hope that they don't dive in too far into the deep end and hit their head on the bottom of the pool and mess this up. Because let's be honest, it's very possible that they could. You know what? Let's pick up the pace a little bit and go to Jay Garrick, The Flash, number 5. Yeah, humor once again there. This is issue 5 out of 6. And 77 out of 79 liked it with a 4.1 on League of Comics Geeks. And I gave it a 7.9. So I'm just a little bit behind them. I did enjoy it. Writers Jeremy Adams, artist Diego Arlote. Once again, butchered. Anyway, is this the final race for the Flash and the Boom? Dr. Elmo's plan, which is, in my opinion, a Dr. Doom knockoff, but looks really cool. Dr. Elemental's plan is revealed as Jay and Judy race to save Joan from her being captured. But this plot has been in the making for decades. Can the Flash and the Boom get one step ahead? Or is this the final race for the Garricks? Pretty cool cover. I find it the standard cover pretty interesting. The other ones are pretty good too overall. This has got a really good full page layout, good art style. You know, which is amazing to me because at first I didn't like it very much. I'll admit that. If you watched my previous reviews, you'd notice that. But I think it's growing on me. Yeah, the art style's growing on me. Fun story too, and I have to say that I'm liking this. I want DC to give us more of these characters that we're seeing in this issue. Hopefully they'll do well. Hopefully they're selling well enough that DC will go, you know what, let's write some more stories with Dr. Midnight and Jay Garrick and things and continue to give us some pretty cool stuff. Then the next one I want to talk about is Power Girl number 6. 49 out of 56 liked it with a 3.7 average rating on League of Comics Geeks. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Now, better than last issue, I'll tell you that. And we have the writer Leah Williams, artist Marguerite Savage, whatever that's supposed to be. I don't know. Guest starring in this issue is Supergirl. The citizens of Metropolis are missing, looking for an escape. Many have fallen victim to Avalon. Yeah, it's a new street drug, and when people take it, evidently, after some time, they're just disappearing. Yeah, so who knows where they're going on this trip? And the Power Girl and Supergirl are going in to figure out what's going on here and investigating the situation. I have to say, the new super team costumes are absolutely boring. Please bring back the costumes of the past. I mean, it's doing a great injustice to like Supergirl and stuff. This costume just sucks. It's my opinion. I think it's boring. Let me know. Am I triggering you? Do you think they look pretty cool? I just don't. I don't like it. And the issue has mediocre art. It's a simplistic shading style as well and coloring, which take away from it. I think with a different art style, this book could do a lot better. And we also have some slow story progression in this. I'm not hating it. Please notice I gave it a 7 out of 10. But I'm not liking it enough to tell people, you know what, you're missing Power Girl, you need to check it out. No, it's more of just if Power Girl's like your favorite hero, maybe, but otherwise I just don't see the point. Now, another one that I have a very controversial opinion on here. Mine is very controversial, and that's the last issue I'm going to cover today, The Amazing Spider-Man number 44. On League of Comics Geeks, you ready? 50 out of 115 liked it with a 2.5 average rating. Woo! I gave it a 7.3. For once I'm higher, which I'm going to probably take some heat on for this one, and that's okay. Let me know why you hated it so much. Zeb Wells is the writer, penciler John Romita Jr. And in this we have the conclusion of the gang war. Madame Mask makes the power move she's been waiting to make her entire life. This is not going to end the way you think it will, because remember, we're dealing with Tombstone here. Do you think Tombstone's going to give up everything and just let it go? This book does have some pretty cool alternate covers. Yeah, like Rocket Racer, which wasn't even in the story, but, you know, it is what it is. Probably because of Black History Month, they have to shoehorn him in. Why not put him in the story then? Give us some cool Rocket Racer. Come on now. But some other good elements there. I will say there's good action in this issue. It's a good cast of characters, except, and maybe I should have given it lower for this, it has Spider-Boy and Jackpot. Goodness sakes, those characters suck. First of all, MJ should not be a hero. I'm sorry, MJ is a great supporting character, but making her a hero, we're diluting it. When every character is a hero in your book, no one is great. You take away what's special. Don't take away what makes MJ great. She's great in her own. We didn't have to create a Jackpot, which of their powers suck too. And Spider-Boy is just lame as can be. I mean, that is a dumb character. Just absolute crap there. And maybe that's why people are beating on it a little bit. I mean, goodness sakes, we might as well put in Rick Parr or whatever backwards Parker dumb character in this issue. It was so stupid. Mediocre art. Be honest, the simplistic shading. I'm sorry, not mediocre art. Decent art. I'd say decent art, and I read the wrong line in that. But once again, I just guess I'm too focused on Spider-Boy and Jackpot being stupid. And wow, I just say, give us more Danny Rand though, in Iron Fist. We had that Danny Rand and Shang-Chi coming to this, and it's pretty cool because they took out a bunch of tanks, I guess, and we never got an issue on that. And they're like, hey, you know, look what we did, which I think was pretty cool. But then Shang-Chi's more like the humble kind of guy there. It's like, oh, quit talking about that, which I think is ridiculous. Come on now, let's give Danny Rand some credit, man. Give him the Iron Fist back and have him just knock a hole in the tank. I think it'd be awesome. But here's the thing. I like more street level Spider-Man. And some people brought up some great points in the comment section below that he's not always a street level character. And that's true. I agree. He's done some amazing high level things, like whooping the X-Men's butt and taking on lots of characters that are well above his pay grade, if you will. But I just tend to enjoy the more street level. And I actually enjoyed this series more than I probably should have. And I think part of the reason I enjoyed it up to this point in this issue is because we weren't getting much of Mary Jane, because, well, let's be honest, this writer has done horrible things with Mary Jane and Peter's personal life, and we see her back into here. So you know what, I'm knocking it down again. I'm going down to a 7. I'm sorry, I have to knock it down a little bit after thinking about it more, because that aggravates me that he even put in Jackpot and that stupid Spider-Boy, and I just know he's going to go back to screwing with Mary Jane. But that's my thoughts, not yours. I soapboxed a bit on that one, I admit. I soapboxed a bit. I must admit, I rhymed again. What can I say? Well, I want to hear your thoughts. What comics should you read? What should I have read? Let me know how I'm wrong and how I'm such an idiot, or whatever it is, for what the choices that I made. By the way, I guess there was a female superhero comic book that mentioned that men are pretty cool. Some of the superheroes are pretty cool, and the feminists went absolutely ape crap crazy on it. This book was written by Gail Simone, and so now they have to cancel her. I think that's ridiculous. How can we not say there's both good female and male heroes? But just by saying that a particular couple male heroes are great, it's a negative? Come on, comic book people, wake up. That was stupid. All right, everybody, thank you for your time. Take care. Have a wonderful day. And until next time, keep it frugal.